A strange structure has appeared within Area 51. It has puzzled many, but I think I may have figured out what it is.
Just released, apparently by accident, the Project Aqua stuff. Did you see this?
No. What's that?
This is crazy.
Yeah, I guess we're rolling.
Are we rolling?
Recently, Tucker Carlson, whilst on the Joe Rogan Experience, let slip about a secret program which once existed within the United States military, and indeed perhaps much higher. Called Project Aqua, it is now a declassified project which focused on the best courses of action for differing events which may occur in the future, in particular hypothetical UFO crashes and encounters. Apparently, the program was decommissioned due to a lack of any events occurring during its lifetime. Not only do I find it very unlikely that no strange anomalies, no strange reports, or indeed no strange objects were reported, witnessed, or found crashed during the number of years it was active. On the contrary, I suspect there is indeed another possible motive for ending such a program with apparently no results. Many believe that alien disclosure is either being prevented or delayed due to the affect it would have on global belief systems. It would also raise far more questions than answers if a project seemingly declassified was involved in the retrieval, and indeed, the reverse engineering that the project intended to undertake was disclosed to the general population. It is far more likely that this program, due to the incredible secrecy surrounding these events, a program such as Project Aqua could indeed have been cover for another project, a black project, one that did retrieve these alien craft, even the extraterrestrial pilots. And there is one place above all else that, over the decades, countless individual whistleblowers have come forward to say, does indeed house, build, fly these craft, even communicate with these entities. It is, of course, Area 51. We have in the past covered the enigmatic dialogue made by none other than Buzz Aldrin whilst on mainstream media.
We should go boldly where man has not gone before. Fly by the comets, visit asteroids, visit the moon of Mars. There's a monolith there, a very unusual structure on this little potato-shaped object that goes around Mars once in 7 hours. When people find out about that, they're going to say, who put that there? Who put that there?
Not only hinting at another intelligence outside of our planet, but seemingly confessed to knowing of a monolith on one of Mars' moons, with Mars long rumored to have once been a moon itself, a moon for a planet which many believe is now nothing more than our solar system's asteroid belt. This planet long said in these legends to have been home to an alien civilization, one that won a war against an artificial intelligence they had created, yet by doing so, lost their entire planet in the process. This could explain why there is possible evidence of ancient activity on Mars, and why one would place such a monolith, perhaps the story of this civilization's past, on a sub-satellite. On another moon, a moon of Mars, perhaps is the ultimate clue. And as soon as one laid eyes on this newly erected structure within the base, I instantly recognized it as the exact same shape as the monolith on Phobos. And without any logical explanation for why one would require such a strange building on such a base, not to mention the pyramids that have long been known to exist there too. Could this structure be a replica of the anomaly on Phobos? Could it possibly be inscribed with the same message? Or could it have a more significant meaning, or indeed purpose? Could it be a beacon for something which is not of this world? What is hidden in this place? What are they hiding? Have they indeed built technology of an alien origin? It would seem as time goes on, not only does this place get stranger, but our reality as a whole. It is an anomaly which we find highly compelling. Although many will have their own theory as to the true reason for the continued increase in UFO activity, with the experiences and indeed the often accompanying video of these unusual events, often explained away as simply being that of natural phenomenon. There is one reoccurring theme or indeed object described amongst them. In nearly 80% of these encounters, the shape, style of movement, and indeed capabilities of one set of UAPs cannot be argued away, being of course that of the Tic Tac, or the most common of all, the orb, videoed and photographed now on nearly every continent, sometimes being witnessed submerging and re-emerging from large bodies of water, with some even claiming to have witnessed them being present at a number of world events. Seen at such places as that of the Dome of the Rock emitting some form of strange energy pulse, only to vanish back into the heavens, this event also captured on several different devices in varying locations by complete strangers, confirming the existence of the object's validity beyond any reasonable doubt. Even captured, tracked, and chased on many occasions by fighter jet pilots, with these enigmatic cockpit recordings released to the wider world, often due to incredible public pressure for full disclosure, with these reports on many occasions stating that these objects capable of incredible speeds, so fast in fact as to seemingly teleport. Declassified radar tracking showing these objects capable of moving over 40 miles in the span of one radar sweep. Thus we feel with such considerable corroborating evidence, all reporting, supporting, and even recording the existence of these orbs, the validity within these wide array of witnesses who claim to have experienced these objects, no longer seen as a reasonable ground of debate, but rather focusing on what they are, who made them, and most importantly, what does the US government know that we don't? Many will still recall the incredible drone sightings which covered the entirety of America late last year, with the governments of the world denying that they were a threat or even of extraterrestrial origin. However, although one was reported and even photographed landing on a runway within the UK, the next encounter made within Colombia would have a far more astonishing outcome. After being recorded flying, even zigzagging across the town of Buga within Colombia, showing no form of conventional propulsion and seeming to defy gravity, this metallic orb, the same as countless others now being spotted and reported all over the globe, suddenly decides to land in a nearby field, astonishingly, allowing some locals to chase it down and even retrieve it. Now known as the Buga sphere, although initially mocked, after the video evidence supporting the locals' claim began to surface, it was predictably targeted to be stolen by figures within the Colombian government, only for the sphere to slip the net, subsequently ending up in Mexico for further examination. Found to have no welds or seams, which one would usually expect to find on something manufactured by man, but also etched with strange alien writings. It features 3 layers of metal-like material and 18 microspheres surrounding a central nucleus they are calling a chip. Recovered on March 2nd by a David Velez El Potro, he claimed it to have weighed about 4.5 pounds and was ice cold. Dr. Jose Luis Velázquez, a renowned radiologist, would ultimately examine the sphere. Velez would soon be interviewed in regards to the orb, hosted by ufologist Jaime Maussan. He told Maussan, Jose, his friend who touched it first, became ill for days afterwards. When I poured water on it, it started to smoke, and the water would vaporize instantly. He claims the government contacted him to hand over the sphere, but he refused, saying it would never be seen again. Researchers have now found that the sphere has irregular edges, indicating that it is a solid object, with the outer layer being the densest. The center of the sphere showing a lower radioacoustic density than the edge, indicating an internal structure that may be more porous, or composed of less dense material than the outer shell. The findings suggest that the outer layer could be made of titanium or steel, but researchers noted that a full composition analysis is needed for confirmation. Subsequent X-rays of the object has revealed 18 small dots within the center arranged clearly in a non-random pattern. The team speculate that the 18 dots could indicate sensors or possible microspheres. Obviously, we don't know the composition or how it was manufactured, but it appears to be an object intentionally built to house these small metallic components internally, one researcher would tell the media. The 18 points are now suspected to form some kind of chip due to their precise arrangement and location within the sphere. He also noted, these 18 points show no signs of fracture, meaning the object remains structurally intact and indeed possibly functional. Additionally, the team observed a central band composed of a different material, which contained more small spheres. They believe these may have been placed inside before the object was sealed. However, the X-rays have not revealed any visible signs of assembly or a single clue to the methods of its construction. Nobody can explain what it is, what its function may be, or how it was built. This object was clearly witnessed and recorded, performing aerial maneuvers that no other craft other than that of a UFO, or indeed possible alien technology, could pull off, only for it to seemingly decide to land and be captured. What is the Booga sphere? What is it possibly trying to tell us? Is this an attempted disclosure? One made not by our own worldly governments, but rather by the extraterrestrials themselves to us en masse, overruling whatever decision the powers that be made in deciding what to disclose and what not. What is the Booga sphere? Where did it come from? What could it be trying to tell us, and indeed what may we find when we hear its message? It is an object which we find highly compelling.
The Betz mystery sphere is perceived by a number of the world's leading ufologists as the most compelling piece of evidence to support the existence of extraterrestrial life ever released to the public. This bizarre, self-propelling, seamless metallic orb was discovered by Terry Matthew Betz during a massive bushfire on their property on Fort George Island in Florida in 1974. Due to the object's alleged supernatural capabilities, it quickly became the center of fascination amongst the general public, and an object of incredible interest for national scientists, military officials, and many other government bodies. When the family approached newspapers with their find, the story of the mystery sphere quickly spread throughout the international media. After a few weeks of its discovery, the sphere began to mysteriously resonate. The family also alleged it would seemingly be stuck in position on occasion, not able to be lifted or moved, also claiming it would often travel up inclines on its own. It would resonate if anyone played a guitar next to it, or if pushed, would change direction on its own, appearing to be more noticeable if in direct sunlight. Perplexed by the bizarre sphere, and indeed the family's claimed experiences, it wasn't long before officials from NASA, the United States military, and the Aerial Phenomena Research Organization came to conduct studies. Intriguingly, their initial research noted that the steel sphere had not been manufactured or indeed tampered with in any way. Navy spokesman Chris Berlinger said to the press at the time, quote, "Our first X-ray attempts got us nowhere. We're going to use a more powerful machine on it and also run spectrographic tests to determine what metal it's made of. There's certainly something odd about it." End quote. When military officials asked the Betz family if they could take the sphere back to their labs to conduct further research, the family declined. Eventually, it was seized by officials, at which point the family claimed it had been exhibiting overwhelming paranormal behavior, slamming doors without being touched, often emitting a loud, strange music at night, and many other activities reminiscent of traditional poltergeist reports. After its seizure, the sphere was taken to Jacksonville Naval Air Station. When attempting to perform an X-ray, researchers allegedly found their machines weren't strong enough to see into its core. They also revealed that it was capable of withstanding an incredible 120,000 pounds of pressure per square inch. The Navy eventually used a 300 kilovoltage X-ray machine to peer inside. They discovered the sphere contained two items, surrounded by a halo of materials. It also exhibited 4 magnetic poles, 2 negative and 2 positives. Unfortunately, the current whereabouts of the Betz sphere is predictably unknown, and it is likely to never be seen publicly again. What is the Betz sphere? A military instrument? An alien craft? Possibly an ancient advanced artifact? It is undoubtedly highly compelling.